welcome to another session of Community Action Together. We're joined today by Edith White, who's the Hampton Roads Community Action Agency Director in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And so Edith, I want to first of all thank you for giving us some time and joining us. We want to hear about how your agency is holding up and how you're responding to the needs in the community. But at the start, I want to ask you a question, which I do on every one of these sessions. How are you holding up? How are you doing?
Well, hello, David, and thank you so much for this opportunity to be a part of this series. We are doing well because we are a resilient organization. We have learned over the years the importance of really having strong relationships in our community so that we're able to respond in times of crisis. So I'm extremely proud of the HR CAP staff, our volunteers, and our entire community as we have joined together and to rally together to provide the necessary support for those in need during this critical time. So I can say with confidence that our agency is doing well.
Well, it's great to hear, and it's what we expect to hear, though. Very good. What's been the biggest need in your community?
Well, there's several needs that have been identified, David. Of course, whenever there's a crisis, the needs exacerbate. There are already gaps and the need to fill those gaps in education and workforce development and in health. But we have seen with this crisis a new set of circumstances that have made individuals who may have never felt they were needy before recognize that they need additional resources in order to survive. And so we have seen families that are uncertain about their economic stability, where jobs have been lost or hours cut or positions furloughed without any notice. This crisis, as we all know, happened very quickly. One moment you may have been sustaining, but all of a sudden you were without your income. So we've seen families be so uncertain about their economic future. We've also seen families unable to meet basic needs as a result of that, for food, for other household supplies, even diapers for children. So we have seen these types of needs to increase ever since this pandemic has been a part of our new normal.
How Congress recently appropriated $1 billion in supplemental funding for the Community Services Block Grant. How do you envision using your share of those resources?
Those resources will be an essential part of our response to the community. Number one, because we've had to move to a virtual environment, which means many of the services that we normally provided in person, including educating our children through Head Start. We operate the largest Head Start program in the Commonwealth of Virginia with over 1,200 children. So those families had to be provided with the tools to be able to continue their children's education. Those tools meaning technology and equipment and access to Wi-Fi. In some communities, access to Wi-Fi is a luxury. It's not something that is the norm. And so we had to first really transition to this virtual world, ensuring that the families and those we serve were able to connect with us virtually. We also had to make sure that our staff and our own infrastructure was set up to be able to provide service virtually. I mentioned the uncertainty around jobs earlier. We have a very robust workforce development program. We had to transition the search for employment, the search for developing resumes, all of those tools and workshops. We had to transition to a virtual world of providing those classes and that type of instruction. So those have been some of the immediate needs that we had to secure. And so the funding from the grants and the CARES Act will enable us to do that on a sustained basis.
Did the staff have trouble shifting to a work from home and a sort of a teleworking in their jobs. Was that a difficult transition?
I wouldn't say difficult, but I would say it was a learning experience because in that process, we had to develop some new tools to be able to effectively work from home. We always had afforded staff the opportunity to work from home on a limited basis, but in this case, we had to take what 3 or 4 people may have been doing periodically to an everyday environment for over 300. And so the needs for that really grow, even in terms of providing the communication access, such as WebEx, Basecamp. In fact, I've said I've learned a whole new language since this pandemic started when it comes to the new technology that we've had to implement, even tools like Time Doctor to look at our productivity, to look at accountability measures, and to ensure that our delivery of services continued broadly in spite of what we were faced with. Our staff quickly adapted and readily embraced the new technology and the new tools. And after a period of learning, everyone now is engaged in the process and actually being very creative and looking at how we provide services in this new environment.
That's good to hear. How's the community responding? Is the awareness for what you do increased? How's the community reacting to your leadership and the agency's assistance to the community?
The community has been wonderful. The beauty of it is that we had strong relationships to begin with. Community action works in tandem with so many other entities, whether there are other nonprofits, whether they're governmental agencies, such as our departments of social services, both locally and at the state level. We work with government, our state government. We work with businesses. So we were able to take our networks that were already created and to expand those to look at more coordinated efforts for service delivery. We're a part of our local United Ways and our community foundations and other entities that are convening organizations to ensure that we are covering all of the needs of our citizens in this region. So I think it has increased our collaborative efforts. It has brought new partners to the table. And I'm very excited about that because these new partnerships and new relationships will go far beyond this crisis. These new relationships will be a part of our sustained effort to ensure that the services are in place to meet needs wherever they may be.
What's I know you run a lot of good programs and you're involved with all aspects of the community. If you had to pick one that you could say, thank heavens we operate that program in this time. I know that's difficult because you got to be careful with staff film. What about our program? But what's the one you say, wow, that's the one. Thank heavens we have that, because how needed it is in the community. Is there one?
We offer over 20 programs, David, and each one is vital to individual and family success in our community. But I'm really excited about our continuation of our workforce services, because workforce will be a key to coming out of this crisis able to thrive. And I believe very strongly in thriving during crisis. And so our workforce program has quickly pivoted to offering virtual classrooms. We've set up a mobile unit that offers Wi-Fi services and individuals the opportunity to come to this mobile unit to be able to connect with employers, to be able to have their resumes reviewed, to be able to look at how their skill set may match new needs in the community. Because of course, as some businesses are shutting down, there are other businesses that are looking for talent. And so to be able to match those two needs, I believe is critical. I believe that creating that economic base, that economic stability is the key. When you have that, then you're able to move towards self-sufficiency, right, so that you're not dependent on dependent on others to be able to meet your everyday needs. So I'm very proud of what we're doing in workforce, as well as what we're doing in all of our other programs to meet the needs of our clients today and our new clients that we will be serving tomorrow. And going back to your earlier question regarding the CARES Act, it is going to create that foundation for us to be able to serve more families, more individuals than we have previously been able to touch. And so we are positioning ourselves to be able to meet that continued need for services.
That's great. And, you know, someday, I hope in the not too distant future, the COVID-19 pandemic will pass. The economic crisis that we're in will improve and hopefully pass. So in 20 or 30 years, when people look back at Hampton Roads, what do you want your agency to be remembered for?
I want our agency to be remembered for being resilient, for having a renewed spirit of hope and optimism, and not being afraid of change, because change is necessary. Change is the only constant that we have in this world. Our agency is one that adapts to change. We're flexible, we're nimble, we're able to pivot to be able to meet current needs, but also emerging needs. Our agency has been in the forefront of meeting needs for more than 50 years. And so we will continue to be that safety net that our citizens know they can contact us, they can call us, and we will meet their needs. And if we can't, we will make sure that they remain a part of our referral network system, and we're able to find them exactly what they need in order to grow, to prosper, and to be productive. Our services range from meeting the needs of children to seniors. And so we have something that covers the gamut, whether you're a veteran and you're returning home and unable to find job or housing. We work with you because I strongly believe that no veteran should come back to his or her community and not be able to find employment, to find safe, stable housing. We work with seniors with a meal program on a daily basis where we ensure that their nutritional needs are met, but also their social needs are attended to as well. We have programs for high school students, Project Discovery. All of these programs are funded through the dollars that our donors provide, but also through the wonderful work that NCAF, that our wonderful Virginia State Association of Community Action Agencies, that our CSBG funding. All of this funding supports these needs in the Hampton Roads community.
That's great to hear. And I think in 20 or 30 years, when people look back at community action during this crisis, this twin crisis, I hope that they say, and we can say to ourselves, we were there, we care, and we led. And it's the leadership you provide that's making a difference. So stay safe. Tell your staff and board, you know, you're doing great work. We appreciate it. And it's because of people like you leading community action. I know that we're making America's response to this horrific challenges we face a little easier, a little better, and a little more brighter in terms of the sooner we get out and the less pain that our families and individuals feel. So Edith, thank you very much. I appreciate your commitment. And again, stay safe, stay committed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all that you do.
Thanks. Goodbye.